iFILM, London. iFILM, London.
Right, this is Kugan Cassius here for iFILM London. We're just leaving Liverpool with Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew, McIntosh presser. No McIntosh, Eddie. Why wasn't he there?
I don't think he's really used to the big fight limelight. I don't think he understands the obligations that a professional has to abide by, to be honest with you. Very disappointing. You know, I spoke to Dominic Ingle, his trainer. He was due up in Sheffield at 10:30 and got stuck in traffic or had some problems getting there. So I don't think the bottom line is he really wanted to be in Liverpool 2 nights before the fight. He's got to be here tomorrow for the weigh-in, obviously, and to do the big walk-on at the darts live on Sky Sports tomorrow night. So potential mind games, a little bit of narrow-mindedness, but you know, I think probably not the best idea and probably not the best thing to do to try and wind Tony Bellew up, because now I think he really wants to do a job on it.
Why did you decide to link up with Dave Caldwell in the first place with this fight? Because obviously when it was first announced, there was no Matchroom, there was no Sky deal. Obviously you've come on and there is there. So why did you decide to get involved with him?
A couple of reasons. Firstly, nothing to do with Dave Caldwell, just because I like the fight. McIntosh against Bellew. It's a mandatory for Bellew. It's a great fight. I really like Tony as a person and as a fighter. I think he's what boxing needs. I think he's a big personality and he's a great talent. So for that reason I wanted to get on, because I wanted to deliver a great fight for Sky Sports. That was my #1 priority. Number 2, I like Dave Caldwell. He's got a similar mindset to me in terms of what he's trying to deliver, which is great fights. And I don't want to sound cheesy, but 2 words that are very important to me is honesty and integrity. And I can't be bothered to deal with people where you don't know what you're going to get, or you've always got to look over your shoulder because you think someone's trying to pull a fast one. So, you know, working with Dave, we speak all the time. We love boxing. We want to put on great fights, and you know, I thought it was a good opportunity for Dave to get his brand out there and to show a Sky Sports audience what he's trying to do. So good luck to him. You know, I've got no problem dealing with any promoter as long as they obey those 2 words of honesty and integrity. And you know, at the end of the day, as long as fighters are getting paid on time and you know they're being exposed to as wide an audience as possible, then it's all good.
Just regarding your other fighters at Matchroom, obviously we know what's happening with Kell Brook. Can you give us an update on Darren Barker?
Yeah, Darren was in the office yesterday. The new nickname for him is the Barnick Man. You know, he's back in training now, and it's really nice to have Darren, you know, injury-free, because the 2 things that have been plaguing him most is his hips. You know, he had one side done already, and then he was 100% fitness, and then just before the final week of the Martinez fight, he'd completed all his road running, but his other hip was twinging. And you know, he's 29 years of age. He's never really been in a tough fight other than Sergio Martinez, so he's got plenty left in the tank, and it's quite refreshing to see Darren come in with a smile on his face and think, wow, you know, when I get back into full training, I'm brand new. You know, I know that other injuries can come, but you know, we're looking forward to a big fight for him in September in London. And then, but build him, no rush now. Before it was a case of let's get him straight in back for a world title fight because we don't know how long his hip's going to hold up. That's all done now. So it's exciting times in the middleweight division, you know, domestically and internationally. So there's plenty of options for all middleweights at the moment. It's the case of making sure we take the right ones.
Do you feel under pressure to deliver a top-ranked opponent for Kell Brook, because obviously everyone they're looking Kell to now step up to that level, and I know they're on your case because I see them tweeting you all the time about it, and obviously we don't know what's going on yet. I'm on about outside of Matchroom regarding Kell Brook. Is there anything you can tell us at all about that?
It's difficult because, you know, I was speaking about this in another interview there. I'm a boxing fan, I'm a boxing fanatic, so I read Twitter, I try and respond to as many tweets as possible, I read all the forums. I know how badly people want a big fight for Kell Brook. I want a big fight for Kell Brook personally. I won't be happy if I don't deliver that, and I don't want to deliver a bum opponent which everyone just thinks is a total waste of time. We've got to remember there's 2 parts of the audience involved here in boxing. There's the boxing fanatics and there's the general casual sporting fans. You know, the numbers that Kell Brook delivered for Sky Sports shows that the large majority of those were the casual boxing fans, because they don't watch every week. You know, so it's a lot easier to bluff the casual boxing fan than it is the boxing fanatic. But I don't really want to bluff anybody, and I don't think that really that the British public is stupid. So, but at the same level, people have got to understand. You know, I mean, it's frustrating when people are tweeting you saying, "Why doesn't he fight Berto or Ortiz?" Well, they're fighting each other, you know, in June. So obviously he's not going to fight one of those. Down the line, we'd love to fight the winner, but we need to make a fight that's going to position Kell, you know, try and get him into a mandatory position for a world title. There's still, as we talk today, there's 4 or 5 people in the mix, and I have to announce an opponent next week because we're going on sale the week after. And one thing I never do is go on sale with a TBA because I don't believe in that. So, you know, listen, there's 4 or 5 people in the mix at the moment, and I'm close on a number. You know, some I'm happy with, others I'm very happy with, but you're always going to get people, moaning's a difficult word because people want to see great fights, but if people can just understand that I want to deliver great fights and I'm doing everything I can to deliver that, then, you know, and it's frustrating when you see some people tweet, because sometimes I say to look, call the office because I want to talk to you and explain the situation, because I'm quite a straightforward person. I'll tell you straight while we're doing this or while we're doing that. And sometimes I say to people, just call the office and I'll tell you, and they never call. But you know, I think that it's important. Twitter is such an important tool because you can interact with fans, and sometimes it is frustrating, and you've got to be thick-skinned on Twitter, and you've got to be able to take the banter. But I think what we're trying to do is quite straightforward. I've got no secrets, I've got no lies, so I'd rather just tell people straight why we're choosing different routes and different options. But as far as Kell Brook is concerned, I want a test for Kell Brook personally. I know he wants a test, I know everybody wants a test for him. So we'll be announcing that opponent next week, and some will be happy and some won't. But we've got to do our best to make sure it's the best possible opponent available.
Realistically, are we going to see Kell Brook and Amir Khan?
I don't see how that fight can't happen. I mean, I think it's one of the few fights where, you know, you could see a return to pay-per-view on Sky. That's not a strategy that they've got at the moment, but I know that a fight like that is something that could attract a pay-per-view audience. Realistically, Kell Brook against Matthew Hatton sold 10,000 tickets. How many tickets can an Amir Khan Kell Brook fight sell in 6 months' time? I believe 30,000-40,000 in a big football stadium. When you look at the revenue from the gate, you look at the revenue from pay-per-view, I can't see how either team can turn the fight down if they believe they can win the fight. And I do believe Amir Khan thinks he can beat Kell Brook, and I know Kell Brook believes he can beat Amir Khan. You know, no one's calling anyone out. People have got to understand. People tweet me all the time saying Kell Brook's talking about Amir Khan's talking about Kell Brook again. No, he's just being asked about Kell Brook by a reporter. Exactly the same by Kell.
Yeah, like what I would do.
Exactly, like you now. I mean, you know, now people might say that I'm calling, but you've asked me the question, and that's the same with Kell. Everybody always asks him what's happening with Amir Khan, and he responds. They don't like each other. It's a huge fight. People believe already, I think, judging by polls and Twitter and so forth, that Kell Brook will beat Amir Khan. I just think it's a great fight. I respect Amir Khan as a fighter. I hope he beats Peterson. I'm not sure he will. But, you know, for me, that's a fight that makes British boxing great again, because you need these big fights with 40,000 people and huge audience figures. You need an occasion. You need a big event, and that's the kind of thing that's going to put British boxing back on the map.
And just finally, boxing related, Scott Cardle obviously on the bill this Friday. Can you tell us about John Ryder and Lee Purdy?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of youngsters coming through at the moment. Obviously, Scott Cardle is one of those. He's making his second appearance on the Big Bang show. Then he'll be out again on the Carl Froch card on May the 26th. And then he'll be out again on July the 7th. So he'll be having 4 fights in under 4 months. And I'm looking to get Cardle out 7 times this year. Well, 7 times in 7 or 8 months. And that's what you got to do for young kids. You know, people that have been involved in the GB setup, people don't realise how seasoned they are. You know, I was talking to another kid the other day from the GB team who basically, I was saying, you're so far advanced, you're like a 10-0 pro because of the amount of travelling you've done, the training you've had, the nutritional advice you've had, you know, the PR, the media training you've had within the GB setup. So Ryan Aston's another great young middleweight we're looking at the moment. Looks like he's going to fight for the Midlands area title on July the 7th. John Ryder again, 10-0 middleweight. Eric Ochang, who's come up from nowhere, great light middleweight. Lee Purdy, who's just general entertainment, and a great fighter as well every time. So many great young fighters at the moment, but our role really moving forward with our strategy is trying to take young fighters forward, trying to give them the opportunity, and you know, it doesn't necessarily, sometimes people that have missed out on a GB team or the Olympic team doesn't deter me. Sometimes it makes me think they might be even hungrier to succeed. So obviously you've got the Olympics coming up and we have to see what that throws up. We've probably got one of the best teams I think we've ever had in that. So basically I think it's an exciting time for British boxing and the youngsters, but we've got to keep them busy. You know, we've got to deliver what we promised them.
Okay, and just finally, how do you respond to the allegations that some of your staff were involved in watching a certain video involving Talisa from formerly of N-Dubs? I don't know if she's still with N-Dubs, but they were apparently caught watching.
Yeah, this is how do I respond to those allegations on their behalf? Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. I mean, it's disgusting behaviour. You've got a young team of professionals in a car on the way up to a press conference, passing round, you know, a tape of a very high-profile celebrity.
An intimate moment.
Trying to show me. I just had no interest at all. I don't want to see that kind of stuff. I did get a glance, and the only thing I can really say is poor techers.
And would you like to name and shame these?
Frank Smith, Anthony Lever.
Whoa.
At Frank_Smith1 and at Anthony Lever. You can let them know your feelings on Twitter, but you know, just not the right behaviour in this professional environment.
Will they get a written warning?
No, they can just leave the iPad on my desk.
Okay. All right, Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for talking to iFILM London. We've got a bit of a drive ahead. Well, we haven't. Darren. Sorry, Darren. But thank you very much for talking to us, and we'll catch up Friday.
Cheers for coming, mate.
Thank you very much.
iFILM, London. iFILM, London.